Hey guys, Adam Trigger here, wagertalk.com, and we're talking the Boca Raton Bowl down in Boca Raton, Florida, between Syracuse and South Florida. So this is a client play for me. I got this out at a slightly better number than it is now, but still, Syracuse money line is fine. I would just bet it accordingly. I gave clients minus 125 at for a 4% play, and I would just play it accordingly. I like Syracuse to win this game, so just give you a little bit of an idea of like how I'm approaching some of these bowls. These lines are moving. They all move off of info. And what I'm finding is my handicap doesn't always match like the info and the personnel, because that's really what bowl season's become at this point. It's really more like preseason NFL, in my opinion. These are exhibition games where you're trying to gauge motivation, figure out who's going to play. And so sometimes, just getting the info overrides the handicap. I'm looking for spots where I think I can punch back at the market a little bit, where I think there might be an overreaction and my handicap still lines up. So that's kind of what I'm getting here. So I'll start with like motivation. I've heard a couple times that like on multiple different media outlets, sports betting outlets, that South Florida is going to be the more motivated side. I kind of disagree with that. I don't know if that's like coming from, okay, well, Dino Babers got fired, but the tone up here in central New York's pretty good. People are excited for Fran Brown, but, there's a good portion of the staff still there. The kids still want to be there. So I kind of disagree with that. I don't think there's a lack of motivation for Syracuse in this game at all. I think it could be the contrary. The other thing you got to remember is it's snowing out here in central New York. And a lot of times, including last year, I went to the game. Syracuse gets sent to like the Pinstripe Bowl to go play in cold Yankee Stadium. That's where they were last year against Minnesota in a game that they did not win, but they did cover. So now they get to go down to Florida. Some nice weather. I actually think they're going to be plenty motivated to want to win this game. And then this is a lot like the play that I made over the weekend. So I've only made one bowl bet so far. It was Ohio on Saturday, and it's almost the same setup where you've got Syracuse has some offensive guys out. There was a line move that was probably somewhat coordinated with knowing Syracuse was going to be missing some guys, going to be with a backup quarterback, which is probably, what's going to be the case. But there's, they have their defense is full strength. And I think the market has actually kind of come around to thinking that Syracuse might be better off than they are, because when we bet this, on it was minus 125, and now I'm starting to see this creep back up to Syracuse -3. Their entire defense is going to play in Rocky Long. The defensive coordinator is going to stay. So, similar to Ohio, Syracuse is going to have their full strength defense. And really what we're going to be looking for here is the offense to find a way to score points, which in bowl games, it's a lot different than week-to-week college football regular season. So I can live with some guys being out on offense for a bowl game because I know a coaching staff has had 3 to 4 weeks to prepare for the game. Where I don't want guys out is on my defense, but that's not going to be the case with Syracuse. Their defense is going to be full strength. Now, South Florida, they're going to have some guys out potentially on their offensive line, which in my opinion is far more concerning. That'd be the last place that I would want injury concern, not injury, but like opt out, injury, what have you, concerns going into a game like this would be the offensive line. So I actually think the personnel shapes up better for Syracuse, in my opinion. As far as the handicap is concerned, South Florida, I'm just not a huge fan of this Bulls team. They give up a lot of big plays. On offense, they tend to like fizzle out. They'll move the ball between the 20s, but they're not great at finishing drives in the red zone. And I think the biggest sort of thing that puts me on the orange here is when Syracuse's defense is at full strength. This is a very solid defense. And I think they're going to be the best unit on the field here. So I like the matchup for Syracuse's defense so much against South Florida's offense that I'm willing to live with whatever Syracuse can come up with offensively. And I also think that if they're well prepared, they're going to be able to hit a few big plays in this game, and they might be able to just generate their offense via, the big play. Very interesting stat. Syracuse is great as a favorite. So much so, I didn't even have this off the top of my head. But digging this up, going back now, I think at least to last year, potentially to the year before, they've covered 13 of their last 14 as a favorite. So they've been really good when laying points, when they are the, I guess, perceived to be the superior team. They tend to win and they tend to cover. And I think that's going to be the case again here. Now, I got money line out to clients. Basically, the spread was like 1 or 1.5. When I gave it out, I chose to go money line. I think now I would just, tailor your risk amount accordingly and still play the money line. But this feels like a game that Syracuse wins by at least a field goal. I think their defense is going to be the star of the show here. And if they can hit on enough big plays, I think they generate enough offense to win this game. So Syracuse, money line, best bet, 4% play. Coupon code BOWL20 for 20% off any daily package. And head on over to wagertalk.com. Follow me on Twitter @TopFlightSI to get all of my picks.